Hi all, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another crafting tutorial. And this one today will be a big project, but a very cheap one. And if you don't include paints or glue, then this is completely free. It will take a little bit of job, but we're going to be building this thing. As you can see, it's a very cool board. It is the same size as for combat patrol or incursions, but with these techniques you can make the board as big as you want to. You can make a full onslaught board with the same techniques. It will just take a lot more time. But without further ado, I'm gonna take you to the crafting table and let's build this board. Let's do this. Come on! Let's begin, my friends, and we're gonna go to the recycle park or a media outlet and get the largest cardboard boxes or sheets you can get, preferably from refrigerators or large TVs. I got mine from Media Market and I went dumpster diving in my local recycle park. And I'm just using 5 pieces of double corrugated cardboard, and we're gonna measure 112 centimeters by 77 centimeters, and we're gonna mark this on the cardboard. Then I cut out one and use it as a template on the other pieces, and this can also be done for a 6x4 board if you have the patience for this or the cardboard. Now these are my 5 equal pieces, and now we're gonna simply use PVA glue to attach them all together into one thick board, and we're gonna place our second board on top of it, make sure everything aligns well, and then we're gonna weigh it down. Now continue to do this with all the other boards until you have one thick board, but do not forget to let it dry a little bit and weigh it all down. Alright, now we're gonna sketch out a quick plan how we want our board to look, and this can be anything you have in your imagination. I'm simply using my tank, which is 7 centimeters wide, to create my road, which is 7 centimeters wide. Like so. Cool. Now you should have plenty of offcuts or even more double-graded cardboard left, and we are going to build the pavement and leave the road deeper than the sidewalk. So we take all our double corrugated cardboard offcuts, and I still have plenty to go about, and I'm also taking a thick paper drinking straw, and we're going to create gutters with this. Now cut these straws in half and measure them with the road's edge. So first cut them in half. They are very cheap and they come in a pack of 100 and they cost nothing at all. And here I'm measuring them at the edge where the road stops and where the pavement begins to create my gutter. And I'm using my sidewalk as a guide to see how they line up. And that looks very cool. Now cut enough straws and then hot glue them to the side of the road. Like so. And do this first. Glue them in first, so we can trace them all around our road. Very easy to do. Cool. Alright, so that's done. Now we take the double corrugated cardboard and glue this down next to the gutters to create the sidewalk. Or the pavement. Double corrugated cardboard. And you can use white glue or hot glue, but if you use hot glue, take your time, do not rush it. And once it's all glued and dried, then I will be cutting off the excess sticking out from the sides, but wait until the glue is fully dry or you will rip off pieces of your sidewalk. Trimming it a little bit here. Now time to cut the excess sticking out. All around the board, and it now looks like this. The different sides in total. Looking cool. Starting to take shape. We'll get there. Alright, now we'll take single corrugated cardboard, and we are going to start by measuring rectangles that are 7 centimeters wide, long by 5 centimeters high, like so. Then proceed to cut these out. Just cut out one. 5 centimeters by 17 centimeters, and we're going to create enough tiles to fill the entire road section, so I use 32. Now for the tedious part, put on some of your favorite music or a movie and try to enjoy the next process. Take some cardstock and begin to cut 1 centimeter strips. Start by cutting out these strips, and you will need a lot of them. And we're not done, because now we're gonna do the same for 1/2 centimeter strips, and you will need a lot. A lot. And then again, with cardstock, we're gonna cut out 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter squares. And you will also need quite a few of these. And it doesn't hurt to make more, because we're gonna use the same items once in the next video when we create our ruins. Just start by cutting out all these squares, and also cut about 10 rectangles that are 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters and a half. Don't need that many of these. Now I'm taking a couple of these coffee lids, and I'm gonna cut out the rim. But if you do not have this coffee lid, just cut out a circle of cardstock to create a sewer grate. And I'm also gonna need some 1/2 centimeter cardstock strips. Now I measure 1 centimeter intervals on the strips, but in hindsight 1 inch would be more than enough, and I'm going to use a hole punch to create rivets in the strip. But if you don't have a hole punch, just simply poke some holes in it with a pointy tool, a screwdriver, or whatever you have at hand. But I have this hole punch, so yeah, might as well use it. And you've seen me use this in a lot of builds before, so it's a handy tool to have, and it costs nothing in a dollar store. Okay, now we're gonna mark out the center on a couple of these tiles, these road tiles, and we're gonna trace the coffee lid, and we're gonna cut out the circle we just drew. Like so. Cool. Fits nicely. And now we're gonna glue down the 1/2 centimeter strips all around the row tiles on the long sides, and we're gonna use shorter edges on the side parts. Measure them, cut them to length, and glue them down. Measure them, cut them to length, glue them down. That's one with the sewer, that's a regular one, and you'll end up with this. Now let's do all of these dudes. Alright, time for the fun part, and watch it come to life. Glue down the road tiles on the streets. Just fill it with hot glue and simply slide them up against each other. And here is where you will see the process finally taking shape. And just switch it up a little bit to see where the ones with the sewer grate go. Doesn't really matter, to each his own. And I'm going to use painter's tape to blend the gutters and the sidewalk together. They will be covered with those 5 centimeter square tiles, so no worries, but I'm just gonna make it for a nice smoother blend. Now at the edge of the sidewalk I stick down drywall mesh tape, and I'm gonna do this all around the board. Well, all around the gutters actually, like so. And as you can see, I'm using some water and PVA, and I'm painting that inside of the gutters to reinforce the sturdiness of the drywall mesh tape, and also of the painter's tape, to make sure that it does not come loose once we wash this thing. Now take more of those 1/2 centimeter strips and start to glue them on the edge all around the gutter, like so. See? Now I lost a bit of footage, but here's what I did. I glued the rectangle 3 centimeters by 2.5 centimeters on your right corner on these roads, and then I glue a second strip of 1/2 centimeter, as you can see on the image here. Now before we continue, hey guys, this is a part of the video where I thank you all for watching, and where I remind you to please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, or share this video with somebody who you think might like this stuff. And a quick word from this video's sponsor, the Spelfanaat, my friendly local gaming store, who are always kind enough to sponsor my videos, and who had my Leviathan box set aside for yesterday. So loads of fun in the coming week to build it. Now the Spelfanaat is a fantastic store with people who are very knowledgeable about all the games they sell and play with their awesome community. So be sure to check them out in Mechelen if you are in Belgium. Thank you Spelfanaat for all your great services and always sponsoring this video. Now back to crafting. So in my 5 by 5 centimeter squares, I've punched rivets in all the 4 corners. And now we're gonna start to glue them down as sidewalk, but you don't have to use these panels. If you rather use concrete, and you can use concrete. This is just what I'm doing. But yeah, this makes for a cool look. And simply align them all next to each other. Continue to glue them down, and as I said, you will need many. But let these dry fully before you continue to the next step. And the next step is start by to divide the panels with 0.5 centimeter strips. Cross hatching in the lines. I'm using PVA glue because that's, believe it or not, much less messier than if you would do this with hot glue. Now do this all over your board, and I know it's a lot of work, but the end result is really worth the effort. And I cut 2 large semicircles to form some stairs, some steps. But you don't have to do this. You can simply continue with your panels or concrete. It doesn't really matter, but I just wanted to add some stairs to it. And as you can see, I also glued thin short strips dividing the mesh tape grid. I'm so happy with this one. Okay, time for a bit of concrete. This is just a mixture of drywall, and or you can simply use some spackle or some filler. And once it's mixed, I stipple this everywhere on the pieces that I want to be concrete, so the steps and the floor in front of it. Just covering it all with the spackle or the filler I created, in this case drywall compound. Smear it out to create the steps, make them look more realistic. I divide it a little bit, and I also stipple on the row tiles a little bit as well. And let that all dry. And here is my baseboard completely finished. It looks really cool. And now, if you want to add craters on your board, start by cutting them out before attaching ruins or anything else, or even by painting this board. Then fill the craters with plaster or modeling compound. And if you want to see how I make my craters, check out my Horus Heresy tiles. Now, we're gonna make a rim around it, and I first cut a couple of thick corrugated cardboard squares, 12 centimeters, and these I will be gluing underneath in each corner of the board. Also in the center. And this is basically to elevate my board. And the reason I'm going to elevate it is because so we can slide data cards underneath it. So just attach them with white glue in each corner and in the center. And as I said, this will elevate the board so you can slide all your data cards or all papers that you need underneath the board. Now with single corrugated cardboard, I trace the side of the board and start to cut out rims to go all around it. Cut as many as you need to go all around the board. I just cut one and use that as a template, but you can use thick double-gated cardboard. I'm just using thin. And hot glue this around the board's edge. But a quick note, as you see, there is a little gap underneath the board. Now this is important, so leave roughly 1 to 2 centimeter space at the center to be able to place the papers underneath the board. I glue the cardboard rims equal with my table at the corners for about 15 centimeters, and I cut a piece away until 15 centimeters from the other corner, and it sounds way more complex than it really is. So as you can see here, I went all around the board. I'm going to go all around the board, and the corners meet the table, but there is a gap of 2 centimeters underneath it. Once you go all over, spray it all black or paint it all black, including the rim. And I'm gonna dust spray the concrete with a gray primer, and then I'm gonna highlight it with a bit of white. But afterwards I make it darker. If you don't have the spray can, you can simply dry brush this on. Because I really didn't want my concrete to be all this light, so I went over it with some dark paint. And the panels I'm spraying with a metallic paint, with a silver paint. And one of my dogs wants to go back inside. Now I cover everything in a clear matte varnish or a satin varnish, whatever you have at hand. This can also be painted on, and don't forget to do the rim as well. Okay, what I did here was cover everything in a black wash, and then I'm gonna start by soaking it all up. Soaking up the excess in the centers to leave it dirty and stained. And I will show you how I did that.
Now I decided, as I said, to paint the concrete road with a darker gray, but this is optional, and then paint the rims around the road tiles with a burnt umber. As you can see here, I painted them dark, and this is how I soaked up the wash to create dirty panels. Just soak it up in the center. Don't go at the edges of the tiles. Just do it at the center, and we're almost done, ready for the finishing touches, but it's really looking very cool. Now for finishing touches, I scraped a bunch of pastels, browns, black, yellow, orange randomly on the board to create grime and dirt all around it. Yeah, it's looking really cool, and I'm really pleased with this board, and I didn't have to buy any materials because I already had everything at hand. So this board was free, and I'm sure most of you have the equipment as well, so they can get it for free too. All right, let's see what it will look like with some models and terrain on it. Also, the next video will be how I make ruins for this city board. So as you can see, I've slapped on some old ruins I still had, but I'm gonna make other ones for this. Here you can see Abaddon and his data card, which slides directly underneath the board. Very cool. So yeah, these ruins are old. I'm gonna make more new ones for this. That will be in the next video. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how this looks, and I will be doing a lot of combat patrol games, so this board is perfect for that. But you can definitely use and build bigger boards as well. Alright, so thank you all very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed building this, though it did take up a lot of time, but it was a really fun project. And yeah, come and see me soon when we're gonna start building ruins for this thing. Alright, thank you all very much for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe or leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next run. Alright, bye for now. Bye.